Rightio, 11 and 12. Let's get into it. So, let's see, 11. No, just feedback. So, is this yours? Yeah. So, let's have a quick initial impression. So, right away, it probably looks like you want to be either a cinematic artist or a VFX real-time lighting artist. As lighting artist on Real Engine artist, this term doesn't really exist in my opinion. So I would just get rid of this and just call yourself a lighting artist as well. Also, if this is professional work, I don't think I can give it feedback because professional work goes through art direction from other professionals and it looks the way it does. So I'm not 100% sure if it's professional or not. So you might need to be wary on that one. Let me just have a quick look. Winner animated 2024. Yeah, I would say if you got art direction feedback on this in a studio and it got approved, there's no point in me giving feedback, right? Because it's you've been directed to do it a certain way. What I can say is though, you probably want to have in the way it's rendered itself. You've got like the Unreal XYZ in some of them. It just looks a bit messy in terms of that, right? So I would have these showcases underneath a screenshot. So I would have a screenshot, your beauty render of what it's meant to look like fully lit, and then the breakdown under it. Same here. Get a beauty render of this above it, and get a beauty render above each one, and then you can put these videos underneath them that show the breakdown. Because it's hard to see. It's all your images are constantly cycling through the breakdown, so it's a little bit more annoying to focus in on what the actual work is and what it looks like, right? So try and get your beauty shot versions of these images in there, and make sure that you hide any of the Unreal elements that are in the UI. Okay. So that would be my main feedback for how it's presented, because with this being presented this way, it's hard. It won't have much an effect. It won't have much of an effect based on those things I've just said as well. Yeah, it'd be good to know what type of lighting it is. Is it lumen, movable? Are the environments? How does the lighting work with the environments? There's much more you could break down about this in the images, I would say. But yeah, I know that's probably short, but like I said, if it seems to be a professional piece, so I don't think I can really give it any feedback. But yeah, if you're in a studio already, just keep it up. If not, if this portfolio was for games, it's a bit too generalist. Can't go into every piece, but I just want to give a bit of feedback on the main page since I can't really feedback this. But yeah, it's a bit too much work, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could have 6 to 8 strong pieces, personal pieces on top of your professional pieces, and you could do everything you need to do with it. Okay. But yeah, that would be my main feedback. You're probably lacking breakdowns as well. If I just go through some of these images, that one's got a bit of a breakdown. Go more to your Unreal stuff. Yeah, so you've got reference in some areas, but you do this. You have a lot of videos, right? So you need to have more. You need a screenshot for every video of some of the main beauty shots, because videos for games, they don't do too well in terms of retention. So have the beauty shots there for your work, and that's what I would focus on. All right. But cool. Yeah, unfortunately, can't really give much feedback outside of that. But if I judge all these, if you're going for a job, if you're going for a lighting artist job, too much work, too generalist, not enough breakdowns, but you may already be in a job and you may be good to go. But those would be my points for getting into games, and make your thumbnails consistent as well if you can. All about consistency. That's what you want. All about consistency. Cool. So you were number 11, 12. Primarily give feedback on lighting and composition. Cool. Okay. So again, this is why it's better to put videos in ArtStation than YouTube, because YouTube always gives you the play button, which most people won't click. But if you use if you add it to ArtStation, it auto plays. So even though again, videos, I just don't believe have great retention. Most people aren't going to sit there for 25 seconds and even watch that. So, but at least when it auto plays, you're getting something. So anyone that puts YouTube videos on their ArtStation, I would change it to put it as an embedded MP4 video. Okay, just like Ryan is doing. So peaceful northern, improve my lighting and foliage texturing skills. So did you model everything as well, or just the foliage? I'm going to assume you modeled everything here and textured it because you've got breakdowns, but yeah, just clarify that in here. Okay. So let's have a look. Beauty, 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 relight beauty, beauty, beauty. Third beauty, daytime, black and white images. Again, I don't think you need the black and white images all at once, just because I can just do that and see it in black and white. So if you're going to have an artistic image where it's in black and white, maybe put 3 images on the same image, because this is just clutter. You're just making me scroll down, or you're making someone scroll down. To the more scrolling, the more, like, think about this, right? When someone comes on your portfolio, as they start to scroll down, there is a gradual fall in their attention for the piece before they click on the next one. So the quicker you complete that loop, the better. So the less images that aren't really doing anything, the better, right? Is what I would say. So these 3 black and white images, they're not really doing anything, in my opinion. So I would put them on a smaller piece or get rid of them. Fly in the way. Get away, fly. Be gone. Oh. This breakdown's cool. I don't know if it's modular. I assume it's not modular because it's all in single pieces. But if it was modular, you would want to show those modular pieces as well. Floor's a bit dark and muddy, so you could make that floor a mid-grey, mid-dark grey, and it would read a lot better. And see if you can space out the assets. You've got the assets kind of clipping across each other in places, so try and space them out a little bit. Because you're not really trying to show set dressing here, you're just trying to show the pieces that you're doing. So this is a GIF of your creation. These are cool to see. Yeah, this is cool. I'd argue it can go a bit faster. Again, not many people are going to watch more than 10 seconds. So if you can get it around 10 to 15 seconds, you'll be good to go. You don't have references and you don't have wireframes or texture flats, which you need. Again, you want to give yourself the best possible chance to get a job, and the more you leave unanswered for people, aka the person trying to recruit you, the tougher it is. And that's why you might get an art test, you might not get an interview, or you need way more breakdowns. So you need to have material flats, how the foliage was done. You say you want to improve your foliage and texturing, but we need to see how that's been done in the work, because nothing here shows up how you've textured it. Have you done RGB masks? Have you done vertex painting? Is it tiling textures, or is it just textured as a unique prop? These are the things we need to be seeing. If you've done shader work, what does the shader work do? Can you show a small 5-6 second clip of you vertex painting? All these types of things are what you need to show in the piece. Otherwise, even if it does look good at certain angles, it becomes more of a deterrent when you aren't showing the breakdowns. All right. Lighting wise, again, it's quite flat. So with a lot of the lighting feedback I give, a lot of it comes down to value structure. So value structure is the concept that, just like in painting, right? Things that are close to the camera are darker and things that are further away are lighter. So your sky at daytime, I say ideally, but it depends on the reference of what you're trying to light. But if we'll say as a base rule, the sky should be the brightest value. However, if you look at this everything kind of shares the same value, right? So if I take this and I put it into Miro and I go black and white, which I think will come up on the recording, I hope so. But if I zoom out in black and white, it's not very clear what's going on. And that's how it can become flat. So this looks flat because there's no depth in the image based on the lighting that you're doing. So how do you get depth based on the lighting that you're doing is the trick question. And that really comes down to making things darker or moving the directional light. So at the moment, this is very bright. Like everything is super bright and sticking out. The only thing that really has contrast shadow is the mountain, right? So a lot of this will come down to how you're using reference. But I think this is just a bit too bright. So I would expect this area here to be darker in shadow. Another thing is you don't have to always use a directional light. For a shot like this, if you're having trouble with the directional light, just use some spotlights and fake it like a painting. You can do that with this type of shot as well. So I would be wary of that. So the nighttime one has a bit more contrast as it does, but again, this area, so this area here, you would really want to make darker. This sort of, this area here. So vignette will help, but also if you're using lumen, you can also block the directional light. There are a few ways to make this darker, but you want to try and make that darker and maybe this darker as well, so that it turns into a framing element. Equally, I don't think you should have this light on, because wherever you light, we're going to look, and it just looks a bit too symmetrical as well. So I would have this actually be either behind a bit of fog. Maybe your fog can start here, right? And it can knock that back a bit, because you want the focus to be here. So you want to be guiding with the lighting there as well. Have a look at the shading of your foliage, but also the way it's dressed. Because these flowers look very bright and the grass looks very noisy and dark. So try and get different color variations in there, and try and set dress them and leave gaps open. Like you've got some gaps here, but try and make it look like it's not just been flood filled. And the best way to do that is really reference. Look at how grass clumps up on sort of buildings or wherever your reference is that's similar to this, and try and break it up a bit more. The thatch roof looks pretty cool. Yeah, so I think the things with this one is show how you've textured it, broke it down, any shader work that you've done, take away the black and white images or put them onto a single image to reduce the scrolling. With the free relights as well, I think the one that is starting to get the most contrast is the nighttime one. I don't see a major difference between the one at dawn and the one at day. This one, I don't think does much justice for your lighting because it shows all these foliage shading errors. So I would probably get rid of this last one and just focus on your first two. I say it's 7 months old, so these are maybe things you can take into your next piece. But yeah, so look at the value structures of how things are darker closer and lighter in the background, and you have to think of these types of portfolio pieces. You've got to think of your lighting as a painting, right? Try and highlight the area you want the player to look at. And in this case, you want me to look around here and not so much here. And over here, you could have this half in shadow, and the same with this building as well. So yeah, those are the things I would focus on as a whole. The way you present your work, the value structures in the work, and taking the time you need to in that regard. But cool. No, other than that, keep it up, keep going, and you should be good to go. I say you got all this software here, but F-Spy, so I assume F-Spy, you camera match something. Show us somehow, show us in a quick clip, or show us, show how you've used some of this software to do things. Like Gaia, use Gaia for the terrain. If I didn't see the software list, I wouldn't know what you've done to it, or if you've used the nose to wrangle it together. There's lots of things you can sell yourself on in what you've done to make a piece with multiple pieces of software. But if you don't have the right breakdowns for work to do that, you're not going to see it. So, I don't know if I'll be able to find this, to be honest. If you want a good example of someone that shows good breakdowns, God. See if I can find this. If not, I'll put it in the comments and then end the video because I don't want to spend too long trying to look for it. But I'll see if I can find it. There's a chap and he has pretty good breakdowns on his work. If it's the person I'm thinking of, and this could be, I think it's this chap. So I believe it's this one. Yeah, this is it. So if you look at the type of breakdowns Adam has, so material balls of the shaders, a clean presentation of the pieces, wireframes and how the texture sets are being used, wireframes and texture sets, high poly sculpts of tileable textures, shader work in, again, around 10-second format, shader graphs, RGB textures and how they work, and again, block out and reference. So this person is probably, I'd say, a really good staple for how to lay out your breakdowns. Because you look at the beauty images, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 5 beauty images, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11. There's more breakdowns than beauty images, but that's good to see because you could, recruit this person to a team and know that they're going to be able to work with technical solutions, because environment art, well, all game art roles are very technical. So the more you can show that in your work, the better. So yeah, I would use this person as a blueprint for how they do their breakdowns and apply the same logic to your work. And if you do that, you'll start to succeed. Like I say, same thing here. There's usually more breakdowns than there are beauty images, and people love to see breakdowns. So yeah, give that a go, but you're on the right path from what I can see. Keep working at it and you'll be good to go. But for now, peace.